What's up guys, my name is Elle and welcome to or back to the coffee shop project. Today we're changing things up just a little bit. I believe that the coffee experience is so much broader than what you simply experience in your cup every morning. And today I'm going to be living that out by making tiramisu cupcakes. If you're not familiar with tiramisu, it's a coffee flavored Italian dessert. And I'm using the recipe from King Arthur Baking Company. I've grown up around King Arthur. My mom introduced me to it at a young age and have never been done wrong by their quality ingredients and recipes. I think baking is a lot like coffee because while you can use any ingredient or any bean, when you choose good ingredients, you can see that outcome in the product. And I'm super excited to be trying this recipe today. If you want to make these cupcakes with me, the recipe is linked down below. Pause the video, get your ingredients together. All of mine are pre-measured and my oven is preheated to 350 degrees. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to beat the sugar and the butter together until it's nice and fluffy. And since the butter is going to take a second to cream, I'm going to go over to step 4 if you're following along at home and get together the dry ingredients to save some time. Okay, and then we just added our 3 tablespoons of vanilla extract. I absolutely love the smell of vanilla. When I was really little and before I drank coffee, I had these little steamers at Starbucks and they were always vanilla, so always very nostalgic for me. We're waiting for this to kind of whip in and then it's time to add the milk and the flour mixture. Okay, so everything looks pretty well incorporated and now it is time to add the milk and the flour mixture. You're gonna add them alternating, starting and ending on the flour until everything's incorporated, and then we have our batter. I've come to like parchment cupcake wrappers because I feel that they're so effortless but have such a clean look. Like when you go in and you get like the bright patterns and it's all like pink and blue and crazy. I guess it's fun for like specific events, but if you just want them to look clean and classic, nice and Instagram worthy, you can never go wrong with these, and honestly they're cheap. I'm gonna fill my little cupcakes. I'm gonna put 2 of these. I think this is about a tablespoon of batter, and then they'll rise in the oven. We've made it to the coffee part of the tiramisu. And if you've been reading ahead in the recipe and think I'm about to add alcohol, I'm underage and I can't lose my college scholarship, so I looked up a way to sub it out. So traditionally, they're gonna have alcohol, 2 tablespoons of espresso powder mixed in hot water, and that creates the coffee base. But I learned that half a cup of strong black coffee does just as well, and I chose Blackbeard's Delight from Black Rifle Coffee Company. I love it because it's an American brand that supports veterans, and because it's a robust dark roast with some baker's chocolate flavor notes, which I've never seen before, and I thought it could be cool. And as always, we're gonna brew it in my Chemex. If you've been here for the minute, you know the drill with the Chemex. If not, I will link a previous Chemex video down below. The coffee's done brewing. Our first round of cupcakes are out of the oven. So after you finish brewing the coffee, you add in 3 tablespoons of sugar. So I intentionally chose the coffee because it was robust and had chocolate notes. And I thought it would add a little bit of something to the vanilla cake. So we're gonna look. It's nice, light, has a great looking texture. And I'm actually, instead of doing the 4 principles of coffee tasting, I want to dip it in just like a little bit. So that coffee, it's ridiculously strong. I completely get actually. 1, why we need to add sugar to sweeten it up, and 2, why a little goes a long way. I think that dip that I put in like 1/4 of the cupcake was enough for the whole cupcake, but I think I nailed the pairing that I want, and I'm so excited to see how the finished product turns out. Okay, so we now have all of our components of our tiramisu ready to go. We have our coffee sugar mixture, which we made a second ago, and then I just went ahead and made the frosting off camera. If you want to know how to make it yourself though, the recipe is linked down below as always. And then I have these fun chocolate covered espresso beans from Trader Joe's, which I thought would make a fun little cherry on top. And we are going to start decorating them by poking 3 sets of holes in the top of the cupcake and adding just under a tablespoon of our sugar coffee mixture. I was kind of experimenting with this a little bit off camera with my extra cupcakes, and because I don't have the potency of the rum, I found that this was just a nice ratio to get a solid little ring of coffee when you cut the cupcake in half. And then with decorating, I'm not a fabulous baker. I've only really gotten even decent at it recently, but I've found that with decorating it, less is always more. And when you kind of go to get fancy, oftentimes you're going to overdo it. But I've found that baking is a lot like coffee in regards to precision. And I think in my past, a lot of my baking fails have come as a result of lack of attention to precision. And so now we're finding a nice balance in both areas of my life. See, so nothing fancy. Some people might call it ugly. I like to call it homemade. And there's our first cupcake. Let's make a few more. These are kind of giving me, I don't know if y'all watched Blue's Clues. When was the last generation to watch Blue's Clues, or when it started? Don't really know, but these are kind of reminding me, I'm gonna pop a picture if I can find it, of like the cupcakes that they would have at Blue's little birthday party. Okay, so we have a nice little plate going on, and I just thought it wouldn't be a finished little baking show if we didn't do a reveal and taste. So here's my first little cupcake that I did. I like it because I like the little brown bean on top and how it just kind of has like a nice color composition. And we are gonna cut it in half and kind of show where the coffee seeped in, and then we're gonna taste it and see how we like the coffee in there. Okay, so you can kind of see there in the middle that the coffee is the most prominent, which, I mean, if you really want to enjoy the whole coffee experience, you kind of got to be strategic with your bite. When I eat cupcakes, and I picked this up from like the Property Brothers years ago on HGTV, is that they pull off the bottom and they smush it on top. Now that might be more the norm, but I think it's the best way to kind of get that whole cake ratio. I like that because you don't get the coffee right away. You take the bite, you take in the cake and the frosting, and then you kind of wait a second and you get like a little hint of like strong black coffee. Being a coffee lover, this would be the ideal little treat for me to make and bring somewhere. And if you make these yourself, let me know in the comments below, tag me in a picture. And thank you so much for watching this episode of the Coffee Shop Project. I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.